when you're younger, first of all, I didn't really understand as well about how I was feeling. And there is also a sense, and I've seen this with patients I've treated, that you're in a position where people are going to be writing references about you, making judgments about you, and you find it really hard to talk about having any kind of mental health issue because you don't want to be seen as not being strong and not being capable. And I think it's really very hard sometimes for students and people in training, people who are working their way up in their jobs, to be open. Writing the book, one of the things I wanted to do was to really kind of come out and say, look, there's nothing to be ashamed of in having depression. I've spent my life treating it and researching it, and I've experienced it as well. This is a story about overcoming depression and also about coming to terms with loss. The two are closely related to each other. I know this not just from my personal experience, but because I'm a psychiatrist. I've specialised in treating those who suffer from the same problems which have afflicted me throughout my adult life. It was a difficult process. There were times when I felt very emotionally wrung out writing, but when I felt like that, I knew I'd written something that was actually truthful. I started writing about the death of my father when I began to write it, and that was the most difficult part, and I think I worked on that for a long time. And then I realised that there was much more that I could tell. And then I started to see that my life had been a series of parallels between myself and my patients, that we seem to have been experiencing very similar things when I looked back. There were times when I was practicing when patients would say to me, I think you understand what this is like, don't you? Because the things you're asking me, it seems like you've actually experienced this. And I would say, yes, I have. I felt stigmatised within healthcare for being open about this, but I've refused to shut up about it. It's really important to say we all get like this, and it doesn't make us incapable of doing our jobs. It actually, I think, makes us better at doing our jobs. I hope that my book will actually help people to see that having mental health problems, having depression, it's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of.